Hey Kickstarters, I'm Mark McKinnon, game designer and founder of the Discami Publishing Company. And I wanted to thank you for joining us on this Kickstarter campaign to fund Micah Fuller's new board game, Warband Against the Darkness. After just the first time of playing Warband with Micah, I knew that this was a game that players must have on their shelves. It features an engaging strategy, a rich fantasy theme, and tense player conflict that is perfectly balanced in the design space between American and Euro-style gameplay. In Warband, each player takes up the role of one of the great fantasy races of the Five Realms. The races have temporarily put aside their differences to unite in an immense warband to confront the horrific armies of the darkness that awoke deep within the earth and ravished the lands with death and destruction. The player races may have banded together against the darkness in mutual defense, but Warband isn't a cooperative game. The old rivalries through the ages between the races are not forgotten. Pride pushes them to each strive for the greatest leadership glory and the resulting bragging rights that go with outperforming everyone else on the battlefield. Warband is a game of one-upmanship, where each race can command and lead the combined races in combat, but earning honor for your own kind is just as important as defeating the hordes of darkness. The game board for Warband consists of two parts. On the left is a map of the Five Realms. In the final days to determine the fate of the realms, the warbands clash with the darkness on 4 remaining battlefronts. Each of these battlefields are located near a border landmark that separates the 5 realms of Coldrum, Shanaru, Elevethera, Lorendale, and Jani. On this half of the game board, the enemy cards are revealed and placed in the battlefields. Additionally, players embed scout units into the realms for 2 main reasons: to support the combat efforts of the warband by reconning the battlefields for intel, and to establish scout control in each of the realms, which provides victory points at the game's end. The right half of the game board is the warband roster, where player units are assigned to combat platoons and promoted through the ranks. There are 3 light platoons, infantry, cavalry, and archery, and there are 3 corresponding heavy platoons. For the trained elite units, there is also the prestigious honor guard that stands with the warband leaders. Only units in the honor guard have the potential to be saluted as war heroes, earning honor and prestige for their race. In addition to the unit cubes assigned to them, each platoon may have a captain meeple, selected from the race with the most number of units in the platoon. Finally, this half of the game board also includes the Medica, where reserve units are sent after they are wounded in bloody combats that weren't properly supported by enough scout units, and the round track that counts down to the war's conclusion. Each game round begins with the starting player and proceeds clockwise until all players have taken a turn. During each individual turn, a player first upgrades his or her action track and then takes any 3 actions in any order from the action track. Once finished, the player's turn ends immediately and play passes to the next player. So let's take a look at the action track, which is at the heart of Warband. The action track reflects each race's diversity of warfare options and overall tactical effectiveness of those options. When the game begins, a total of 12 unit cubes are placed on the action track for each player, covering and locking all 4 actions, tax, train, scout, and fight, of the rank 2 capable, rank 3 skilled, and rank 4 elite columns. Only the rank 1 novice column is uncovered and available. The more powerful covered and locked action track ranks are unavailable to a player until they are permanently upgraded and unlocked, representing how a player's race gains battlefield wisdom and influence throughout the game. As mentioned earlier, at the beginning of each turn, the player selects any one of the 4 actions to upgrade. For example, let's say the train action. The player removes its leftmost cube, the lowest locked and covered rank, placing the cube in the unit reserve area next to his or her race board. This means that a player selecting the newly unlocked action performs this action more effectively and to greater benefit. In this example, rank 2 train allows the player to train 2 units in the warband instead of just the 1 available under rank 1. After upgrading, the player now takes any 3 actions in any order. For example, you could perform tax scout fight, or train scout tax, or even tax tax tax. To better understand what each of the 4 actions do during the game, please download the rulebook or watch some of the review videos from the Kickstarter page. Here's a short summary. Taxing gains gold to support your combat efforts, such as paying captain's wages when fighting or embedding scouts in the 5 realms. Training transfers unit cubes from a player's reserve to light platoons in the Warband roster, or promotes units up through the Warband platoons. Scouting sends scout units to recon the border battlefields to gain intel and to support the Warband when fighting at adjacent border battlefield spaces. Finally, fighting uses a collective Warband army to defeat an enemy card in combat and gain the associated victory points. Once the last player has taken his or her turn in the final round, the game is over, and players use their score pad to add up their victory points earned in 7 categories. The race that has gained the most number of victory points, and thus has achieved the greatest leadership glory in the final battle against the darkness, is declared the winner. So that is Warband Against the Darkness. And we're asking you to please consider pledging your support to this Kickstarter today. As you can see, the files are ready to be sent to the printer, and we can get Warband into your hands this spring. And if you support Warband in a big way and we exceed our funding targets, we have some really great stretch goals planned that'll enhance your gameplay experience, including unlocking new races and abilities. So please spread the word today. On behalf of everyone involved in creating Warband Against the Darkness, thank you so very much for your Kickstarter support.